Once upon a time, at the very edge of a great and ancient forest, where the oak trees stood tall as castles and the wildflowers grew in colors that had no names, there lived a little girl with the most extraordinary hair anyone had ever seen. It tumbled down her shoulders in long, springy ringlets, each one the exact color of liquid sunshine, golden, glorious, and just a little bit wild. And so everyone who knew her called her Goldilocks. Goldilocks lived in a cozy cottage at the edge of the wood with her mother, who had only one very important rule about the forest. Mama.
Goldilocks, my darling, the forest is beautiful, but you must never wander in without me.
And Goldilocks would always nod her head and say,
Yes, Mama, I understand completely.
And she did understand. She understood perfectly well. She just found it very, very hard to obey. You see, Goldilocks was the most curious little girl in the whole wide world. Curious the way a kitten is curious about a ball of yarn. Curious the way a butterfly is curious about every single flower in a meadow. Her eyes were always wide open, and her feet were always itching to go somewhere new. Now, deeper inside that very same forest, past the silver brook and the mossy stepping stones, past the old crooked willow tree and the patch of bluebell flowers, there sat a dear little cottage with a red front door and smoke curling lazily from the chimney. And inside that cottage lived a family of 3 bears. There was Papa Bear, big and broad-shouldered, with a great rumbling voice like distant thunder, and a heart just as warm as his porridge. There was Mama Bear, gentle and careful, who always hummed to herself while she stirred the pot, and who never forgot to tuck a daisy into the window box. And there was Baby Bear, small and soft and round, with enormous curious eyes, and the most cheerful giggle you ever heard in your life. He was, in almost every way, not so very different from a certain golden-haired girl who lived at the edge of the trees. That particular morning, Mama Bear had made 3 bowls of porridge, thick, creamy oatmeal swirled with honey and cinnamon, and set them steaming on the kitchen table. But the porridge was much too hot to eat straight away, and so the 3 bears decided to take a gentle walk through the forest while it cooled. Papa Bear.
A fine morning for a stroll. The bluebells are in bloom, I believe.
Mind you don't trample the mushrooms, dear.
Can we go to the brook? Can we? Can we? I want to see if the frogs are back.
Yes, little one. We can check on the frogs.
And so the 3 bears pulled on their coats and wandered off into the golden morning air, leaving their porridge to cool, their chairs waiting at the table, and their little cottage sitting quietly. It was on this very same morning that Goldilocks slipped out of her own back garden with a basket over her arm, telling herself she was only going to pick wildflowers, just along the path, just a little way. But the sunlight was so dappled and pretty between the trees, and the birds were singing so sweetly. And there was always something wonderful just around the next bend. And then there it was, a cottage. A little cottage she had never ever seen before, tucked between the ferns and the foxgloves, with window boxes full of daisies and smoke still breathing softly from the chimney. Goldilocks stopped. Her eyes went wide.
Oh, how perfectly lovely. I wonder who lives there.
She stood very still. She listened. Not a sound came from inside. She took one step forward, then another. Then she knocked on the red front door. Tap, tap, tap. No answer. She knocked again, a little louder. Still no answer. And that is when Goldilocks made the choice that would change her whole day, and perhaps teach her the most important lesson of her little life. She pushed open the door and stepped inside. The cottage was the coziest place she had ever seen. Braided rugs on the floor, copper pots hanging from the ceiling, a fireplace, warm and glowing. And there, right in the middle of the kitchen table, 3 bowls of porridge, still sending up the most wonderful smell of honey and cinnamon, and everything good. Goldilocks' tummy gave a very impolite rumble.
Well, surely no one would mind if I just had a tiny taste. Just to see.
She pulled out the biggest chair, Papa Bear's great tall chair, and climbed up. She dipped her spoon into the biggest bowl and yelped.
Ouch, that's too hot.
She tried the middle-sized bowl, Mama Bear's bowl, and wrinkled her nose. Goldilocks.
That's too cold.
She looked at the last little bowl, tiny Baby Bear's bowl, and hesitantly dipped her spoon. Her eyes lit up like two small lanterns.
That's just right.
And she ate every single bite, every single one. Now, with her tummy full and warm, Goldilocks wandered into the sitting room where 3 chairs stood beside the window. She tried the biggest chair. It was enormous. Her feet dangled in the air and the armrests pressed in on both sides like walls.
Too big.
She tried the middle chair. It was so soft she sank down and down like she was being swallowed by a cloud.
Too squishy.
She tried the smallest chair, just the right height, just the right width, with a carved little back painted with tiny flowers.
Oh, this is just right.
She rocked gently and rocked just a little too enthusiastically until one of the little legs snapped clean off and Goldilocks tumbled with a bump onto the braided rug.
Oh no!
A small ache of guilt settled in her chest, but she pushed it quietly aside, the way children sometimes do when they don't quite want to think about the thing they have done wrong. And she tiptoed toward the little wooden staircase. At the top of the stairs was a cozy little bedroom with 3 beds in a row, each one different from the last. The biggest bed had a thick woolen coverlet that smelled like cedar and pine. Goldilocks climbed in and stretched out.
Too hard, like sleeping on the forest floor.
She tried the middle bed, which was piled so high with feather pillows she could barely breathe.
Too fluffy. I can't even see the ceiling.
She climbed into the smallest bed at last, and it was like slipping into a hug. Soft, but not smothering. Warm, but not stuffy. The pillow was plump and smelled of lavender.
It's just right.
And before she even had time to think another thought, Goldilocks closed her eyes and fell fast asleep. Out in the forest, the 3 bears had finished their walk, checked on the frogs at the brook, who were very much back, according to Baby Bear's extremely detailed report, and were now making their way home for a nice, warm bowl of porridge. Papa Bear pushed open the red front door and stopped.
Someone has been eating my porridge.
Someone has been sitting in my chair too.
Someone has been eating my porridge, and they've eaten it all.
The 3 bears looked at each other. Then they went into the sitting room. Papa Bear, deep rumble. Someone has been sitting in my chair. Mama Bear, hands clasped, worried. Someone has been sitting in my chair too. Baby Bear, staring at the broken pieces on the rug, voice tiny and shocked.
Someone has been sitting in my chair, and they've broken it all to pieces.
Now Baby Bear's eyes were full of tears. That little chair had been his since he was barely bigger than a pine cone. He looked at the carved flowers on the broken leg and blinked very hard. Papa Bear put one great warm paw on his little shoulder.
Come, little one. Let's see who this uninvited guest might be.
And up the stairs the 3 bears crept, soft paws on old wooden steps, until they reached the bedroom door.
Someone has been sleeping in my bed.
Someone has been sleeping in my bed too.
Someone has been sleeping And she's still there!
Goldilocks' eyes flew open. Three bears, standing in the doorway, looking right at her. For one long, stretched-out second, nobody moved at all. And then, Goldilocks leapt out of the bed with a cry, tumbled past the three bears, flew down the stairs, burst through the red front door, and ran. Ran faster than she had ever run in her life, her golden curls streaming behind her, her heart hammering like a drum, through the ferns and the foxgloves, past the bluebell flowers and the old crooked willow tree, past the mossy stepping stones and the silver brook, all the way back to the edge of the forest, all the way home. She burst through her own garden gate, tumbled up the path, and flung herself through the cottage door.
Goldilocks? My goodness, what has happened? You look as though you've seen a ghost.
Goldilocks stood in the middle of her own warm kitchen, cheeks flushed, chest heaving, eyes still wide as saucers. And then, very slowly, something happened. The fear began to drain away, and in its place, something else crept in. Something quieter, something heavier. Guilt. Goldilocks sat down at the kitchen table, and she told her mother everything, every single bit of it. The door left ajar, the porridge, the chair, the little bed, all of it. Her mother listened quietly. When Goldilocks had finished, the cottage was very still.
And how do you feel, my love?
Terrible. I ate Baby Bear's porridge. I broke Baby Bear's chair. They must have been so frightened when they came back, and so sad, especially Baby Bear.
And what do you think should be done?
I need to go back and say I'm sorry and fix what I broke, or at least try.
Her mother smiled. Not the easy smile of someone who had been obeyed, but the deeper, prouder smile of someone who had watched her child choose the harder, better thing. The very next morning, Goldilocks and her mother returned to the little cottage in the forest. Goldilocks carried a fresh pot of honey porridge that they had made together, and in her other hand, she held a bouquet of wildflowers. She knocked on the red front door, properly this time, and waited. Baby Bear blinked up at her from the doorway. Papa Bear's large frame visible behind him, Mama Bear leaning in curiously from the kitchen.
My name is Goldilocks. I came into your home yesterday without asking, and I'm very, very sorry. And my mother says she can help fix the chair, if you'll let her, and if you'll let me.
She held out the pot and the flowers. I made you more porridge, and my mother says she can help fix the chair, if you'll let her, and if you'll let me. Baby Bear stared at her for a long moment. Then his round little nose twitched, and the very faintest smile crept across his face.
Is that honey porridge? Cinnamon and honey, just like yours. That's my favorite.
Well then, I suppose you'd both better come in.
And so they did. The chair was mended by afternoon, good as new, with one small new flower carved into the leg, right where the crack had been, so that Baby Bear would always remember that even broken things can be made whole again with care and honesty. And as for Goldilocks and Baby Bear, well, as it turns out, when you are both small, both curious, and both a little too fond of cozy things, you have more in common than you might first expect. They became, in time, the very best of friends. And what did Goldilocks learn on that most extraordinary of days? She learned that curiosity is a beautiful thing, but that it must always travel alongside kindness and respect. That the world is full of wonderful things to discover, but that those things belong to someone. That when we make a mistake, and we all do, every one of us, the bravest thing, the finest thing we can do is look someone in the eyes and say, "I'm sorry. Let me make it right." Because the truest courage isn't running away from the three bears in the doorway. It's walking back the very next morning and knocking on the door. So if you ever find yourself stepping somewhere you perhaps shouldn't, Pause, little one. Take a breath. Think of Goldilocks and the three bears and the little chair mended with a flower carved into the wood. And remember, the best adventures are the ones we go on together, with kindness leading the way. The end.